Hi everyone, it's Kenny, and today here I have with me Keenan, and we are the Cinema Fanboys. Introduce yourself, Keenan. How are you today?
Hey, my name's Keenan, and I'm here to talk about the 2017 movie, It.
Yeah, but this is going to be our spoiler review, as we already had our regular review. I had that with JD, but Keenan here is with me today to do the spoiler review because he has a lot of thoughts on the film himself, and he really wants to say a couple things regarding it. So since I've already given a lot of my thoughts on the regular review, I want to go ahead and hear what you have to say about it because I know you have a lot of shit to say about the film.
Well, just to give everyone a caveat here, this is basically my first exposure to the universe of it, or the Stephen, because I haven't read the book and I haven't seen the 1986 miniseries with
No. Book came out in 1986. The miniseries came out in 1990.
Okay, gotcha.
But the 1990 miniseries, yeah.
I haven't seen the miniseries, so this is my first thing I've ever seen having to do with it.
Is this your first Stephen King property in general?
No, I'm familiar with. I've read the only Stephen King book I've read is The Stand. I read that in high school.
That's a long ass book.
But it's
that's one of his best books.
Yeah, so that's literally the only reason I read it in high school, because I was like, oh, what's the best Stephen King book? And I looked it up, and they're like, oh, that's The Stand. You need to read that right there. And I was really into reading like long books like Infinite Jest and everything. But every time when I watch a movie that's adapted from something, I always try to look at it like, how does it stand as a movie on its own? And I can honestly say that this movie, it's not like there's two extremes. People either like really hate it because of their attachment to the source material, or they love it. And I don't really feel like I fall into those extremes.
I haven't heard anyone that hates it. Most people like it. Even the book readers like it, but they have complaints. They're not like over the moon with it, but no one. I haven't heard anyone blatantly say they hate it. Most people, the general consensus is good. You've met people that hate it.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, explain this.
I feel like that that's still too harsh to hate it, because out of all the horror movies I've seen in the past few years, this is probably the one that has had me sincerely like interested in the characters. I don't know what's gonna happen, because you know that there's a possibility, and this is also me coming in cold turkey. Like I don't know I don't know the plot. I don't know who dies and who stays. So I felt like a risk. Like I felt like, oh man, any one of these people can die at any second. So I actually felt generally invested. With that being said, I did have a few problems, but I wanted to start with the positives.
Okay.
One of the biggest things that I liked was that the cinematography. Now,
yeah, that's one thing that we agreed on as well.
I love the contrast. Everything looks very clean. The colors have like really big contrast. Everything looks really good.
The town looks good.
Yeah, everything looks good. It's a shitty town, but it looks good. It's a shitty town.
It's a nice looking town, dude. The people are just shitty.
No, the people are shitty.
Yeah, the people are shitty. But the town it looks gorgeous. It's like it's got that name. And here's the thing that I mentioned, the JD, is that even though it takes place in the 80s, it still looks like it takes place in the 1950s because of how old school that town looks.
Yeah. And what I wanted to say was, like, I didn't know this until after the film, but I have his name right here. His name's Chong Hoon Chong, and don't get offended if I pronounce the Korean name wrong.
Yeah.
But he was involved with a lot of the films, like if you're familiar with Park Chan-wook's film, like Old Boy, Lady Vengeance, all those really really good South Korean films. And I really like the cinematography. The movie was really good to look at. The kid, I felt like I liked the actors. One of my favorite characters being Richie, the potty mouth.
Mm-hmm.
He says a lot of funny things in this movie.
Do you want to know who plays him back in the 1990s?
Yeah, who plays who?
Seth Green plays Richie.
Seth Green?
In the 1990s version, Seth Green plays Richie. Kind of fits, right?
It does.
Yeah, so yeah, I love Seth Green's Richie back in the miniseries, but
apparently this kid is in Stranger Things.
Yeah, he's Finn Wolfhard is his name. He was in Stranger Things. He's pretty much been typecasted as this 80s kid.
Yeah, and what's interesting that a lot of people bring up is that the last time this miniseries was made was like roughly 27 years or something.
Yeah, it's actually been 27 years since it's made, so that's kind of a cool, because in the book he comes back 27 years, so he actually has come back 27 years now in another adaptation.
It's a little spooky. So obviously they're doing it now, so it would be really convenient, and they can make the second part set in modern day.
Yeah, it's if you go by the time, it would be like 2015 that it would take place in.
And Andy Muschietti is the director of this film, who this is only his second feature film. I haven't seen Mama, but I've seen I can't really make formal opinion on it, but I had lukewarm reviews. But this is definitely like a strong movie.
This is a strong, good start for him.
Yeah, it is.
Because I mean, this movie's broken records already. It was made with a budget of $35 million, and currently box office $198.5 million.
That's really good. That's only the opening weekend, right?
That's like it's opening weekend, yeah.
Yeah,
it was 117, but currently it says 198. At least based on what Wikipedia says.
So then that means we're most likely gonna see a second part.
Well, we already are gonna see a second part because
it's not gonna be like M. Night Shyamalan's Avatar.
No, they ended the movie specifically with the chapter 1 thing, and first of all the story is longer. The adult part is the next part of the story. That's when it finally ends, but. They had to make sure that the first one has a good ending to it anyways, just to make sure that in case it flops, you don't have to worry. But they still put the chapter 1 thing at the end and everything. But I wasn't worried that the movie was gonna flop. I had a feeling you for some reason had thought it was gonna suck. Pretty much everyone else on the internet was pretty excited about it. Everyone thought that the trailers were like the awesome and I know trailers can be awesome and movies can be shit, but like. Honestly, I had a lot of high hopes for it, and it delivered. Unlike the Dark Tower, unfortunately.
I'm looking at it like this perspective, like, we're out of ideas. What other old '80s property can we make to try and make a quick buck?
I feel like this needed a new adaptation now.
It did because
the other one's very dated.
It's not that. I heard it's not even the. I mean, there's a lot of.
It's a good nostalgic film. The 1990s. It's not even a film. The 1990s miniseries. It has issues.
Yeah.
Don't forget, it's limited. It's a mini-series on TV. Most people love it because it's nostalgic. Because Tim Curry's the best thing about that movie, his performance as Pennywise, and so
I've heard.
It's not. Yeah, so you've heard, but it's not terrible. It's not terrible. It's not like the worst thing ever. It's just it's very fun. There's some great moments in that film. Some moments that are like genuinely like just very creepy. I don't love saying one film's better than the other one. I love both of them the same. I had to rewatch the original because I have not seen it in such a long time. To really give an opinion on that, but there's some things in this film that I like that they showed more maimings of children, I like the fact that there was more of a.
Well, yeah, the TV series was on TV. They couldn't really show.
You couldn't really show certain things in the old one. And now that
even though I've never seen it when I was a kid, it literally ruined an entire aisle of Blockbuster for me because every time. When I walked past the aisle, I knew that movie was going to be. I got so creeped out by the
cover.
Fucking clown.
The cover.
I was just like, I am not going to fucking.
The cover's so creepy out. I still got the.
I just want to watch like Mike. What the fuck? Like.
Well, that was actually my first DVD, I think.
Yeah.
But like Mike, Calvin Cambridge or whatever the fuck his name is.
But I didn't go into this cold turkey. I did do some research on the universe. Apparently, we can talk about this now because it's a spoiler free.
Yeah, before we get to that, I just want to say that currently it's made 117 in the States. Worldwide, it's at 108 million. Still impressive for a film of 35 million.
That's good.
It was projected to only do about 50 to 100 million. It surpassed that shit. Has highest opening for a fall film, highest rated R opening, besides Deadpool, but for the fall specifically. Highest horror film opening, so it's broken a lot of records. It's very impressive, especially for the dude's second film. But we're about to go into some lore here, aren't we? So you've done some research on the Stephen King universe and as to exactly what Pennywise is. So we're gonna go more. So if you're watching this and you've seen the film already and you're not aware, we are about to get into some book spoilers regarding what Pennywise. The book is long as fuck, so if you don't want to read it, we understand. But
what's the book?
I haven't even read the book, but I've read summaries. I'm aware of I've been aware of what Pennywise is for a long time.
Well, two of the big things, there's.
So yeah, we're about to get into lore. So go ahead, Keenan.
Well, two things that were cut out of the book and the miniseries.
Don't bring that shit up. Don't bring that shit up.
Child orgy.
Oh my god! Everyone brings the child orgy part up.
Apparently,
fuck, they're not gonna.
You remember that scene where there was a leper because the kid he's a hypochondriac. He doesn't like drugs,
germs and shit. Yeah.
Apparently, in the book, the leper chases after him and offers him a blowjob or some shit. So none of that fucked up Stephen King pedophilia.
Look.
He was on drugs. Okay?
Stephen King's a genius, but he was on drugs when he did a lot of this stuff, and he did cocaine. He did he just did everything in the 80s and shit. So
it was 80s. Come on.
He was fucked up when he wrote this book. I'm gonna assume. So the thing is But I don't want to talk about the child origin.
One of the biggest gripes I had with this movie was obviously, it shouldn't be that much of an issue.
Are we sticking with lore here, or are we going straight to like issues?
Well,
or does it relate to it?
Well, I mean, what do you want to do? I mean, there's not much to talk about. It gets really weird. The lore, for the guy.
Before we get into our individual issues of the film, let's talk about. We were on the lore. Let's
okay,
finish up the lore stuff. What did you want to say about it?
What I found interesting, I don't know if you noticed this, but apparently, so it or Pennywise is actually not a clown. Spoiler.
Yeah, I know what he is already. You're not. What are you gonna? I already know what you're gonna say. Go ahead.
Yeah, he's a like a interdimensional being that terrorizes, that feeds off fear or something.
He's a deadlight.
And it's a deadlight, and his adversary is a cosmic turtle.
Yeah, a cosmic turtle that created the universe. And in the
movie,
movie,
that up from the movie. By the way.
No, there's references in the movie though.
When he opens his mouth and
when he opens his mouth, those are deadlights.
Yeah.
Only the book fans would have known are the ones who are explore the Stephen King lore, and then there is turtle references when they're swimming in the swimming hole. They mention a turtle. When Bill is in Georgie's room, he has the Lego turtle, and he drops it. There's turtle references in there for the book fans. So there's some cool references in there. So whenever they bring up turtle a lot in it, and there's a lot of cool references throughout the film. There's actually a reference to Christine, the killer car, because Eddie is wearing like a yellow T-shirt and it has an angry car on it. That's Christine.
Turtle god.
Yeah, but back to the lore though. Yeah, in the book, Pennywise, there are these things called deadlights, and they like feed on fear, and like. He's this cosmic entity, and that's what makes him so different and very terrifying.
Freddy Krueger-ish.
Kind of Freddy Krueger-ish, but I feel like, but he does it a little bit better than Freddy. Mm-hmm. He's because he you don't have to be asleep for this shit. Like he'll fuck with you however way he wants, and his powers are very interesting. Like some people have made complaints about his powers in the film being kind of inconsistent. And I mean, did you want to say anything specific about that, or the lore in general? Did you bring up the lore to explain what you think of it, or did you have criticisms or something in the movie?
I don't really have any. I'm not going to criticize the lore because I haven't read the book.
You just felt like bringing it up.
Just exposition, I guess.
There's hints to what he is, but
and obviously
the deadlight thing with him opening his mouth with Bev, it's a cool hint.
I would expect them to cover that. Like the whole second part will cover that. Be like, oh, what the hell is this thing?
In the second book, they're going to cover that because there's a lot of things regarding. There is something regarding that turtle god thing, and how they beat Pennywise, like what they have to do it when they're adults. So they're going to go more into that in the second one. They might tone back certain things, not to freak out casual viewers who don't understand the whole Stephen King universe.
Exactly, because
they're going to tone some things down because they don't want to be like, because people get confused. The casual, no offense to anyone, but the casual movie audiences, a lot of them are dumb.
The Annabelle goers.
The Annabelle movie goers and just like all these crappy horror films, but they get confused about stuff. So they're probably gonna tone it down a little bit, but they will explain. But they will not that people can't comprehend the fact that he's an interdimensional being. That he's like some sort of cosmic being. It's not that they won't understand that. It's just that they have to explain it properly.
Yeah.
And thankfully, they're already going to have an audience because the first one is doing well. A lot of people are liking it, so they're going to have an audience. They just have to explain it properly, or it won't confuse them.
Yeah.
Because people are going to be like, a turtle? You have to explain it.
This shit.
You have to explain it in a very specific way. So I'm interested to see what they're going to do with that.
Yeah. One of the I mean. There was a lot of positive, like I think I've pretty much gone over all the positives. I enjoyed it as a movie. It's reminiscent of like Stand By Me. I like the.
What about the acting?
The acting was really good. I like the dialogue. They actually speak like kids that age that you expect.
They talk a lot of shit.
The dialogue's very reminiscent of like Elmer Leonard. It's very like natural. You feel like the real kids. Fucking were they in middle school, high school?
They're in middle school. They're 13.
Yeah, there was one kid that was 15 apparently.
That was the bully.
I got held back.
That was the bully. I wonder if it's one of those middle schools. Are they in middle school or are they in high school?
Probably, I'll go in middle school. They don't.
Then why the hell do you think that kid must have got held back then? Yeah, either that or it's like a high school middle school combination. But I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. It seemed like a full on middle school. So
yeah.
I know sometimes in movies and shows they'll depict the 8th graders as way taller and bigger, but that's probably what he was, an 8th grader, but he was probably just dumb and didn't pass on the high school. That's probably what it was. He probably got held back like once or twice.
Yeah.
So that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, they were all middle schoolers. They're all like 13 years old.
Yeah, and they didn't portray him as like these innocent little oh my god.
That's not how kids are like.
They're not like that.
They're not. Kids are little shits.
I was a little.
No, I was a little fucker too. Like kids are kids aren't like that.
But with that being said, I felt like what they were given with the script. I feel like every single kid did a good job in the performance. I mean, it's kind of iffy with child actors, but they did a good job.
Yeah, I like how they were mostly unknowns. The only one that was really had any sort of work was
Kid from Stranger Things.
Kid from Stranger Things, yeah.
Yeah. But my main gripe with the time change was that it completely makes Mike's character obsolete almost, because the whole point in the book, by my understanding, was obviously instead of him being like a token black character, there was supposed to be social commentary of some sort, and
because in the book they call him the N-word consistently.
And yeah, that
by the bullies.
Yeah, and so obviously due to like modern sensitivities, they didn't want to go that direction, even though there was racism in the 80s. But there was
still plenty of racism in the 80s.
Yeah, there's plenty.
They could have still done it, but I think they were scared to do it.
Yeah.
Because of racial tensions lately in the past few years with like cops and African Americans and like Trump and just a bunch of shit going on right now that people are afraid to say anything.
Yeah.
Because they kept saying get out of our town, but it's like, okay, well,
why?
If they had said the N-word, it would have made more sense.
Why him? Yeah.
I mean, you get what's going on.
Yeah.
You get it.
But no one wants to.
But no one wants to say it.
Yeah. But I'm not saying that. I'm not like taking off points because it wasn't edgy enough. And they didn't drop that N-bomb. But.
By the way, Keenan's mixed, so he wouldn't have given a shit.
No, I wouldn't have got offended at all. But one of the things, what's the I don't want to call him fat kid, but
Ben.
They completely gave the role of what Mike did in the miniseries to Ben. Like he was supposed to give the exposition. He was supposed to be the kid interested in the history.
Mike is the one who's the historian, and they changed him with Ben.
Now he's just a kid who kills lamb like.
Yeah, now he's just working on a farm with killing lambs for because they sell the meat later at a butchery essentially. I don't like that because it's like okay, it's like you could have Mike is okay. That would have made some people happy having Mike, being the African American kid. Make him the smart one. Make him be the historian. Why make another white kid a historian?
Yeah.
It just and don't worry, people. We're not PC and freak out over every little thing like that. We're not. I just felt like it was a missed. I just felt like why change it if it was already like that in the old one.
Yeah, well,
I feel like King wrote it that way to make it diverse.
That was a big part of Mike's character. Now that's taken away, like him overcoming the harsh and draconian social structure of that town. Derry.
And he ends up becoming the librarian in Derry.
And he ends up overcoming that. So. Be honest with you, his character kind of just falls to the wayside.
We barely see him, and he's usually just running away from bullies and
almost half 3/4 towards to the movie. He's not even there. They find him getting bullied, and
he doesn't join up with them. He doesn't join up with them till the second third of the movie.
Yeah.
So it's basically just in the beginning they're pretty much all together except for him, and I'm like, come on.
Yeah, for sure.
Come on.
Well, let's move on to Stan. Was also another one. I felt like his.
I wish they would have developed Stan more.
We all know what's gonna happen to him. Spoilers: he kills himself in the second part. But
yeah, we already said there's spoilers for the book here, did we?
Yeah. Yeah, there's spoilers.
It'll be in the title and descriptions though. But yeah, Eddie dies too.
Eddie dies. Yeah, I just found this out real time. Eddie dies.
Oh shit! I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, no, Stan. When they make the pact to come back 27 years later, if it does come back. Stan can't handle that, and he kills himself.
So then I'm probably getting confused. Stan kills himself.
He kills himself. Right. He can't handle. In the movie, Stan is scared the most. Remember?
Yeah.
He's scared of that woman in the photo, in the picture, and he's terrified the most. He even says at the end when they did the pact, he's like, "I hate you" to Bill. Remember? Because they made the pact about coming back 27 years later. He doesn't want to deal with that shit again. So he's not able to handle it when he gets older, and he just kills himself. Eddie dies in a different way later on. He just ends up dying, unfortunately. But
just dying. Yeah, and let's talk about Bill Skarsgård.
Before we do that, I was just gonna say Stan. The three characters I want to see more development from was Stan, Mike, and the rest no, just those two.
Pretty good.
Just those two, because even Ben got just those two. It was just mostly Mike and Stan. I wanted to see more from them.
I wonder one of the biggest gripes has had is I felt like this was some kind of weird rated R version, like Charlie Brown. Like, where are the fucking adults in this movie?
Well, that's the thing, though. No. Pennywise, whenever he's in town, everyone's bewitched. The adults are bewitched. They can't see what the kids are seeing, and so the adults will act weird. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the adults will act very bizarre. Pennywise has this like spell over the town in which the adults are completely oblivious to anything going on to the kids, and only the children are able to see, because the reason he targets children is because children have more of an imagination. So they're able to be scared of more.
Easily manipulated.
They're easily manipulated. Adults don't have as much of an imagination, so when they're older, he can still kill adults. He kills that teenager. He kills the teenager Patrick. He can kill whoever he wants. However, he targets children because they're very easy to pick off. And he's really favored this persona of Pennywise has really favored this persona of being a clown.
Since the 1700s, he took on that form, right? I think it was.
Yeah, if you notice, his outfit is very Victorian.
Mm-hmm.
It's gray and dirty. You can tell he's an old entity. He's been around forever, but he takes the form of a clown because it's just an easy way to get children. And
I want to go up to that fucking clown.
Honestly, back before the clown fear became like a really big thing, I could imagine him being a clown in like the 1800s. Messing around with kids and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, one of the biggest things is just like with the dad. Like they only show the dad once. Like the kid. Like
who's dad?
Poor
Bill. Oh, I want to comment on Bill's dad. He was cringy.
I hated
the acting for the adults. I don't like because
it was just so.
It was like he was like, he's dead. Georgie is dead. I'm like, what?
Exactly.
It was such bad acting. I'm like, do you know how many movies they've done that same line in? He's dead. He's dead. I'm like, you couldn't have just been
no subtlety.
No, you could have just been more silent or like a different kind of anger.
Dead. Like grab him by the shoulder.
He's dead.
No, he was just like, no, son, your brother's fucking dead. Stop taking shit from my room.
The next time you watch something from my room, ask me for fucking permission. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and so it was just some weird, it wasn't. I just didn't like. I didn't feel like the adult. Well, now that you can hear explain it, the bewitching thing that kind of puts things.
Yeah. Everyone's bewitched. That's the reason why the adults act very bizarre. Beverly's dad acts bizarre too, but Beverly's dad, he probably diddles her. Obviously,
that adult is literally like a piece of shit in this movie.
Yeah, it's kind of like South Park. It's kind of like South Park because in South Park the adults are fucking retarded and all the kids are
like real life.
Yeah, kind of.
Well, the kids are retarded too.
Basically, it kind of speaks on the fear of parents never listening to you when you have to tell them something like something like some real shit. Like some real shit. Like when like Eddie gets hurt, she doesn't even listen to them about being attacked. Eddie's mom is gross and fat and nasty. And here's the thing, she doesn't even notice that Ben has like a big ass gash on his stomach. No, not even. I want to speak on that, by the way. What the fuck, Ben? Like he got scratched multiple times. Where are the parents asking like, "Are you okay?" Like one of the biggest issues I spoke with Jordan about of JD, and this obviously happens because to cut time, but I really want to see a scene. And okay, so all the kids interact with Pennywise before they all decide to like meet up and like talk, and before they all find out that they had to interact with him. They all have their own encounters with him, right? Mm. Why the fuck did none of them ask their parents for help or be like, "Oh my god, I'm scared. I just saw this fucking clown." Yeah. Like no one brings up to their parents, and you never see a scene with the parents being concerned about.
Yeah.
They cut that shit out obviously to not add unnecessary shit, but honestly, it's just like, where the fuck are their parents?
Exactly.
I mean, I know the 80s was a safer time, but so I know it's a safe town per se, but here's the thing. It's not even a safe town. It's not. They know people are disappearing, but they let their kids run around the town anyways. Yeah. But I'm not gonna blame the movie for that because
it's the source material.
Because the source material, that's something from the source material, and I need to look more into that. What I'm saying is, I would have liked to have like one scene where like a parent's concerned.
One of those.
Eddie's mom was concerned, but like in a bitchy way, and she doesn't even listen to the kids. She won't bother listening to the kids. That's one thing in the movie. As a parent, and it's probably part of the the whole message of like your parents aren't gonna listen to you, so these kids have to beat this thing themselves.
One scene that didn't make sense to me, and what I liked about this movie, even though it was set in the 80s, it wasn't like the filmmaker's playlist. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a recent movie that just came out playing unnecessary 80s music, Death Note. It's just like that scene where they come in, Richie, stay outside, keep watch, make sure the dad doesn't
the
come
montage,
and they're cleaning up all this fucking blood, which was a really cool scene, by the way, that that would have took like at least a day to clean, and like the sun doesn't go down or anything, and they're playing that nice little, the kids.
Yeah,
that,
Richie's somehow out there the entire fucking time.
Yeah, I like that song, by the way. But it's just like, dude, what the hell? Like the dad didn't come home. Like what the hell? Like the sun's not even coming down.
That shit takes hours.
That would take hours.
That would take all day.
It would. Not probably even. It would be probably 2-day project.
Yeah, I don't care if it's just one room. That takes a long time. Blood takes fucking forever. That blood would take forever. It
just that didn't hold up at all.
And then by the time they're done, it's just squeaky clean. Like the fuck.
I want to kind of go over this quickly, but that scene with all the blood, I just thought it was really cool. Completely overkill from the original miniseries, by the way.
Yeah, it wasn't as much in there,
Not quite.
You haven't even seen the original, but you've seen scenes. I'm assuming.
Yes, I've seen that. I just thought it was cool, because the lights are on when she's looking at it, and so the blood goes literally everywhere. So when the light gets on, when the blood gets on the lights, it reflects the blood, and the whole room is red, and you're just like, something like from a Nicholas Winding Refn movie.
Oh shit! So blood wasn't all over the room. It was just specific parts, but the light made it seem that way.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm dumb. Maybe I'm dumb. I don't know. Fuck.
It was kind of like a Nicholas Winding Refn movie, like Bronson, all the red lights he likes to put in there, but like kind of like deja vu there.
But go ahead and talk about Bill Skarsgård now, because I know you want to say some stuff about Bill Skarsgård. So go ahead.
His performance is pretty good overall. I liked little things. I mean, you guys may not know, but his one of the problems I think that he suffered from was that a lot of people he didn't want. I assume he didn't want to like just copy Tim Curry's performance, so he just made it so vastly different. But at the same time, I felt like he couldn't really decide. Like I didn't like the character's voice in this. That might be like really like a small thing to pick on. But like 1 minute he's like his voice is like really bouncy, like and like very like light, like the carnival. It sounded like Yoda. The carnival, Georgie. And then the next minute he's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And I'm just like, okay, like what the hell? This is schizophrenic. I just felt like there's some parts about that, like mainly the voice, but everything else, like the movements, like especially the scene when he's walking up to Eddie, and he broke his arm, and he's like walking up to him, and he's like, it's time to float, and the way he was moving and shit, I was like, man, that's just so surreal. Like,
you like that? You said?
Yeah, okay. I like the movements.
I was saying how
the look was good.
I was telling you earlier, the look was good.
Drooling.
I was telling you, he was drooling when he was talking to Georgie. I was telling you this earlier, how like I love how his eyes would just move in different directions, and like he just, like you said, that was real. I know. You told me Bill Skarsgård actually did that with his eyes. I just love all these little subtle hints to like the way he like moves, just to let you know like this he's not from this world. He's something different. Yeah. So I just really love all those little
like the
subtle
weird thing at the beginning where he's the kid. He makes the kid laugh even though he looks fucking terrifying, and then he just suddenly stops and his eyes go to the side and he starts drooling, and the kid's like, "Oh, I need to leave," and he's like, "No, wait."
He's like, "You fucked up.
Your boat. Oh, your boat."
He literally fucked up. He could have had his ass right there. I mean, he still got him anyways, but.
Yeah, but the kid, you were this close to not getting your lunch there.
Like you're making him laugh and everything, and then you just stop laughing. You're like,
but he doesn't understand our ways.
Well, yeah, so I'm saying that's what's creepy. That's what's creepy about him. He's even though he's been around for a while, he still acts very weird because he's not from this place, from this world. Yeah. So.
Well, yeah, one of the terrifying things, I guess, in the book, context of the book, is like you can go literally to a different fucking planet and Pennywise can still get you. Yeah, he travels.
Pennywise can go anywhere. Actually, this is a little bit of a spoiler regarding the Dark Tower, but not the movie, but one of the books. In the Stephen King universe, everything's connected by the Dark Tower, and in one of the books, there's actually a clown-like creature called Endello, who was able to like morph into different things and like change the reality of people and stuff like that. Essentially, people say that that's Pennywise. That Pennywise is that old, and that he was in that's him in the Dark Tower. And there's a lot of books. There's different things connected to Pennywise and it. A lot of Stephen King's books take place in Derry, and there's references to characters and certain events in other books. So this is not the only story of Stephen King that takes place in Derry. Stephen King has he has 3 different locations. He has Derry, Jerusalem's Lot, and then there's one other place. I can't remember. Something Rock. I can't remember.
I think Derry's in Maine, right?
Yeah, Derry's in Maine. Yeah. And that's where Stephen King is from, so that's why he kind of bases it off of that. But.
Nah, not the bestest places. I wouldn't stop through there.
No, I mean it's kind of boring. Their beaches are just rocks.
The people are kind of shitty, apparently.
Okay, we're gonna piss off someone from Maine. Okay, stop.
Oh, sorry, excuse me. No, in the context of the movie,
in the context of the
pretend
movie.
Stephen King.
Do you see what you've done? Do you see what you've done?
Yeah. So, one final thing. I'm getting closer to the end of my my thoughts here. Like I already gone over the inconsistent voices.
What inconsistent voices of Pennywise?
Of Pennywise.
I think that works. Like I know what you're talking about. That bothered me too, but then it makes sense because he's like that in the miniseries. Because in the miniseries he's more jokey, but it makes sense because of the fact that like he's just a bizarre, weird, otherworldly thing. And it makes kind of sense that he's just fucking around like that. He's a dick. He likes to play. He likes to play with his food.
The hilarious one part movie that kind of made me laugh is when when Eddie breaks his arm and he just jumps on him and Eddie's like slapping him and shit. And then like
he grabs his hand. He's like woo. He just grabs his arm and he pretends he's gonna bite like nah. Yeah. That shit was fucking.
It was funny. I wouldn't be laughing if I was him, but the music in this. Most mainly the soundtrack, like as in like I felt like, and this is my gripe with all movies who do this. Instead of like being subtle and like letting the emotion, like the audience feel the emotion of the moment, like oh shit, this is kind of scary and surreal. I don't like this. The music is always there. It's just super loud to like feel this, be fucking scared. like I'm like okay, we get it.
I didn't notice it that much, but I know what you mean.
I do not like that.
I didn't have an issue with it.
And
you're just a picky motherfucker.
Yeah, and obviously the jump scares weren't that bad in this movie. I feel like there was like
there's not that many.
Reasonable beat, like if like every like 5 minutes or so something is kind of happening.
Let me ask you this: is the movie scary or no? I personally didn't find it scary.
Adrenaline.
But it's adrenaline pumping.
Adrenaline pumping.
Like it's not like oh my god fuck it's not like it's not
there was some surreal kind of creepy-ish moments.
My favorite part is the projector scene. That shit I didn't expect him to pop out like that.
I liked the most of it, but
actually the main part that terrified me is just the Georgie thing. I felt so bad for Georgie. They literally chose like the cutest kid to play him.
Yeah, it's the jump scares weren't that bad. It's not like like average horror movie popcorn flick, but it was just kind of got kind of obnoxious at some points, like the scene where they're in the sewer and Stan gets attacked and like he's that weird painting lady who like, has teeth and she attacked him. Yeah, and then he just goes behind the corner and then he comes back and does his little eyebrows up like this, like that was scary, wasn't it? Like I just felt like every 5 minutes he was just like kind of pop out and be like, "Whoa, look at me,
Pennywise, yeah, right?
I'm a fucking spook." And this is just like, and then
but that's part of his personality.
And then go away.
He's a dick.
I'm like,
because he knows that they're looking for Beverly, so trying to get them all together to kill them off. Even though they all together they would kill him, but no, I mean I just told you Pennywise is a dick. Okay, he likes to fuck around with his food before he eats. Okay,
like some full of fear.
He does like a full of fear. That he says it tastes best in the book. I believe he says it tastes best when they're full of fear.
Kind of.
So he wants to terrify them to the point where it's just like you probably should have ate them a lot sooner then because they pretty much beat his ass. So.
Kind of like a quarter pounder, you like beer and cortisol and all that.
Jesus
stuff.
Christ. Anyways,
but yeah,
overall, we gotta wrap this up. So
yes.
Essentially, okay. I already gave my score in the non-spoiler review. I gave the movie a 9. I know you feel like that's a bit high, but I feel like it deserves it for what it is compared to other horror films. And given its impressive feat, I give it a 9. I thought it was great. The issues in it aren't enough to kill the movie for me. So I give it a 9. Cinematography, acting, story-wise, just the feel of it, I thought it was great. So just recap on what I thought. And so let's go ahead and finish off what you think right here.
I definitely think it was an above-average good movie. I would probably give it like a low 7 out of 10. It was a good time. I probably won't see it again, but it was probably one of the better horror movies I've seen in a while, and I would definitely recommend it to anybody. Go see this.
Would you recommend seeing it in theaters?
Yes.
Yeah. Go see it with some friends.
It's fun.
Just don't be loud in the theater like our experience, but
I'm sure they won't do that.
Yeah, but we had some terrible people like I mentioned before. But Anyways, yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for our spoiler review. I mean, I hope you guys like that. We pretty much enjoyed the movie just like everyone else. There's differing opinions, and that's perfectly fine because with every movie, there's always going to be different opinions. And yeah, so let's get up for Keenan today. Thank you for joining us, Keenan, today.
Thank you very much.
If you look forward to more reviews in the future, we're going to be reviewing not only new films but also classic films. One of the films we plan on reviewing next will be Fantastic Planet, right?
Fantastic Planet.
Fantastic Planet, Criterion Film Collection. So it's a French film, correct? Is it French?
I believe it is.
No,
actually, no.
What is it?
It's not. I forget what the nationality of the director is off the top, but I don't think it's French. But it's one of those weird 1970s psychedelic animated movies. I don't even know what it's about. I have to.
It's French. It's French and Czechoslovakia.
I think it might be from Switzerland. Don't quote me on that. We need Wikipedia here.
But this is an animated film from like the 70s, and it's just a science fiction film. But yeah, we're gonna review that. We're gonna review old school films. If you have any suggestions and you're interested in something you want to hear us review, leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think. Thanks once again for listening in. This is Cinema Fanboys, and we'll see you guys later. See ya.
All right, see ya.